The moment that they vote for an impeachment inquiry, with their leadership saying, oh, this is just an inquiry, you know they are in a super slippery slope to vote for impeachment, because they're not going to start this thing unless they vote for it. So we are trying to at least get Republicans in the Biden districts to slow down and think about what they're about to do, because this could be a political career terminating event for them.
That was Maryland Congressman and House Oversight Committee ranking member Jamie Raskin speaking after meeting with House Republicans in his attempt to stop the impeachment push. The House Rules Committee will meet today to mark up the impeachment inquiry resolution, with a vote to formalize the effort coming as soon as tomorrow. Hunter Biden, meanwhile, is expected to sit for a closed-door deposition before the House Oversight Committee the same day, before lawmakers leave for the holidays on Thursday. Joining me right now is Wisconsin Congressman Tom Tiffany, a member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, thanks very much for being here this morning. Is Jamie Raskin's work proving positive? How do you think this is playing with members, with Jamie Raskin asking your members to stop all of this?
I think it's pretty humorous to hear my colleague from Maryland talk about we better be careful about this. We have been steady and methodical through this whole process. So much credit goes to Chairman Comer that he has steadily laid out the facts in the case. We're now moving on to the next phase, or what I think we should move on to the next phase, which is formalize the impeachment inquiry, not impeachment, the inquiry. So we have the investigative tools to be able to find out for the American people, where did all that money come from that went to the Biden family?
And it's unbelievable. I mean, when they were impeaching Trump, it was all systems go. And now they want to slow down. This could be a destruction for your career. Talk to us about the evidence that you see here, because I know you've had to convince certain members that, yeah, we do have evidence and this is what we're talking about. Ken Buck, for example, says he's not in on this at all. I don't know what he is thinking in terms of all this money that has flowed. So what do you think is the most damning evidence?
You know, so maybe Representative Buck represents, people across America that don't tune into politics a whole lot, and they need to be convinced of this. I can tell you, Maria, in my district after the 1st of January, we're going to do listening sessions across my district about it, because we do have to bring the American people along. They need to see the evidence of 20 phone calls that President Biden said he did not communicate with his son, the 20 shell companies, the $20 million that went to the Biden family. We need to share that with the American people and make sure they're up to speed on this. And increasingly, that is happening. We need to take it to the next step. And the Biden family should welcome this, Maria, because they get a chance to clear their name if they did nothing wrong, as they claim.
Right. So that's exactly. You would think that the Biden family wants to be able to say, no, this is not true. But you've had memos from bank regulators. You've had access to bank accounts and bank records. You've had witness testimony. What do you think is the most damning piece of evidence?
I think the most damning piece of evidence is the $5 million that came from Burisma that really kicked this whole thing off, because then Vice President Biden confirmed it in an interview. He said, yeah, I shut down that investigation that Shokin was doing in the Ukraine. And there was $20 million that followed that.
I'm wondering if this was the start for all of these relationships, because there was a different $5 million put into an account from China. And that was the $5 million that was discussed from the bank regulator and the money laundering expert, where China sent $5 million to a Hunter Biden account and there were no services rendered. So you got $5 million from Burisma, and then you got the $5 million from China. Is that something that you have focused on, the bank regulator memo?
5 million here, 5 million there, Maria. It ends up being real money, doesn't it? You know, there are so many of these transactions that we're finding, Maria, that I think we need to lay that timeline out. And this is why you go to the inquiry. So you ramp up more information being generated for the American people. But I think the American people are paying attention more in regards to this. And we need to lay out that timeline and those payments that were put out there and show the evidence to the American people, the same evidence that we have before us.
Let me switch gears and ask you about the government surveillance of American citizens. This is also disturbing to me. Speaker Mike Johnson withdrew both the House Intelligence and Judiciary Committees FISA bills. Before the two competing bills were supposed to go for a vote yesterday, the bills will reportedly not be voted on again this year and are likely to be punted until next year. Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs said that there could be a 4-month extension for the FISA renewal until lawmakers can get on the same page. Tell me where this stands and how you view the FISA renewal.
So where I view us standing at this point, Maria, is just what you said. The bills have been pulled back. I think there's going to be no more negotiation between the Intelligence Committee and the Judiciary Committee. But I am disappointed because the Judiciary Committee, which I serve on, we have jurisdiction over that bill. It should have been the judiciary bill that went forward. And this is in regards to FISA. We are seeking to put the foreign back in the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act rather than surveilling the American people, as the FBI has admitted they have done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had Mike Turner on the other day, and he was discussing his bill, and he says, he says he's made changes to that bill that would protect American citizens from getting a warrant unnecessarily and getting spied on. Do you believe that?
So there's some changes that have been made. In the Intel version, they've reduced the number of FBI agents that can access this. There are greater accountability measures for those FBI agents if they abuse it, but it doesn't ultimately deal with protecting Americans from warrantless surveillance. And in fact, there's an expansion of Section 502 that is being talked about in the last 24 hours, where anyone that has equipment, for example, at a Starbucks or something like that, a local library, that it could be used, that really needs to be reviewed, because that is a huge loophole allowing the intelligence agencies to be able to get warrantless information from the American people.
Yeah, I just think this is so disturbing. There is so much surveillance going on. First, we thought it was all the Chinese Communist Party surveilling America. Actually, our own government has surveillance on American citizens, and we'd like to know more about this. So we'll be waiting for these bills to come to the floor. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Zelensky is going to meet with President Biden today, as well as the House Speaker Mike Johnson and other lawmakers. Biden is claiming that he's willing to make compromises on border policy in order to secure the aid to Ukraine. Though your own party opposes those efforts, Congressional Hispanic Caucus Chair Congresswoman Nanette Barragán and Senator Alex Padilla slammed the president for considering what they say are Trump-era immigration policies to win the support for the Ukraine aid. Congressman, where does this stand? Do you think you're going to be able to get money to Ukraine before you all leave for the holidays, or are the White House and Democrats digging in, no changes at the border?
So, I mean, what happens with Ukraine is not my preeminent priority. We need to make sure that we secure the border, and we need to pass H.R. 2. H.R. 2 was a compromise bill that secured the border that went through the House of Representatives. If we allow any loopholes, like Senator Durbin is talking about, allowing immigration parole to continue to stand, well, the Biden administration will just use that loophole to pump in millions of more people. We need to stand firm in regards to H.R. 2. It is the right bill. It secures the border.
Why? Why do they want the border open, Congressman?
That's a really good question. I think it goes back to the transformation of America. President Biden talked about it, or excuse me, President Obama talked about that in his first term, and I think it's becoming more and more evident. This is Barack Obama's third term as the president, and he wanted to transform America, and this is a key component of changing America, is bringing people from all over the world into this country.
Wow. Incredible. Congressman, thank you. We'll be watching. We appreciate your time this morning. Tiffany is in D.C. Thank you, sir. A quick break and then